This afternoon I spoke with Governor Malloy and FBI Director Mueller. I offered Governor Malloy my condolences on behalf of the nation and made it clear he will have every single resource that he needs to investigate this heinous crime, care for the victims, counsel their families. We've endured too many of these tragedies in the past few years, and each time I learn the news, I react not as a president, but as anybody else would, as a parent. And that was especially true today. I know there's not a parent in America who doesn't feel the same overwhelming grief that I do. The majority of those who died today were children. Beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old.
All right, that was Barack Obama, President Barack Obama, excuse me, addressing the nation yesterday after the Newtown tragedy, disaster, mass murder, massacre, whatever the fuck it is you want to call it. It is something just incredibly, incredibly awful that the vast majority of us, I don't know if any of us can wrap our minds around it, because it is such a tragedy. I've talked about this with a couple other people. 9/11, overall, much huger tragedy. We're talking about, 3,000 to 5,000 people. And, we have the thing that happened in Aurora, Colorado. Lots of people dead, sure. Yeah, including kids in both of those situations. But what separates this particular tragedy, even from Columbine and Virginia Tech, is that the children that were killed in this tragedy were either 6 or 7 years old. They were first graders. That's what really sets it apart from anything else that we can think about right now, because usually when you have a tragedy like that, there's usually a much bigger mix of victims, and but as I said, it's most of them were kids, 6, 7 years old. One little girl just had her 7th birthday 4 days before. According to one parent, their kid had just asked them a couple of days ago, what was dying like? And you have people asking themselves, why did I send my kid to school today? Well, what else were you supposed to do? It was a school day. You can't go around blaming yourself for sending your kid to school. But this is where it all begins now. The blame game begins right now. And everybody's going to be looking for somebody to blame. The school, the security officers at the school, gun control. And just so I'm clear to everybody out there, I do support gun control. I do think there are way too many legal guns out there, way too many illegal guns out there, way too many guns out there. We're talking about a little over 10,000 deaths in the United States due to guns. Okay. I support gun control. I don't think it'll be effective in the short run. I mean, you could outlaw guns right now, make it a complete felony with a hefty prison term, maybe even the death penalty. But the fact is, there are elements in our society, if they really want a gun and are willing to pay the price, they're going to get one. I'm going to do a few updates here as to what's been going on. Now, yesterday I said, because that's what was reported to me, that it was a Ryan Lanza that did the shooting. It was not Ryan. It was actually his younger brother, Adam Lanza, that did the shooting. As a matter of fact, police had to pretty much stop a mob of people from trying to go after Ryan Lanza and killing him. As soon as he knew anything about what was going on, and people at how authorities thought it was him, he was actually hanging out with friends, having drinks. He let everybody know on his Facebook page, hey, it wasn't me. I was at work. I've been with my friends all afternoon. It wasn't me. Wasn't Ryan. Another correction in the story. Originally it was reported that Adam Lanza had shot his mother at the school. Turns out he shot and killed her at home. Actually, we don't know that he shot and killed her. May have strangled her, may have stabbed her to death, we don't know for sure. But he did kill her at home. Nice, well-to-do part of Newtown, Connecticut. They were doing, financially, it seems pretty okay. What we do know is that the guns in question were registered to Ryan's mom, actually. 3 guns that we know of: a Glock, a Sig Sauer, and a .223 caliber Bushmaster rifle, all registered to his mother. Now, I can understand the need to feel for self-defense, but why do you need a Glock, a Sig Sauer, and a .223 caliber assault rifle exactly when you're a 53-year-old woman living in Connecticut? What do you think is going to happen exactly? A lot of people are trying to put together what inspired Adam to go off the reservation and go like this. Now, one of the things that me and the Russian we talked about today, actually very recently, was that he killed his mother. That was the first victim in this entire thing. And as ugly a thing as it is for anybody to say, on some levels, most of you, I think, can understand wanting to kill your mother or your father. You can understand it. There have been times in your life, when you were a kid probably, that you kind of wish them dead. Maybe by accident, maybe you hope they get hit by a truck. Very few people have had murder fantasies, but in a lot of ways, we can all understand wanting to kill our parents. You may not want to admit to it, but you can understand it. Which is why, in this case, we actually rather admire Lyle and Eric Menendez. They claimed, if you remember way back from 1989, if you don't remember this, they just one day got up, decided that they were going to take a couple of shotguns and blow their parents away. Now, the prosecution alleged that they did it for whatever inheritance may have been involved in that particular situation. Lyle and Eric maintained that the reason they did it was because of years and years of physical, psychological, and sexual abuse. According to them, their father, Jose Menendez, was a violent sexual predator, pedophile, who would routinely molest and rape them. Their mother was an alcoholic, drug addict, enabler, who allowed for these things to happen and did not protect her sons from their abusive father. Okay. Nobody swallowed that pill. But let's say it was true. At least if that was true, Lyle and Eric did it the right way. They blew away their parents. Good. You know who you're pissed off at? That's who you go after. I don't care if it was for sexual abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, beatings, or even the inheritance. I don't care. But they picked the target and they stuck with it. They killed their parents. Good for you, Lyle and Eric. I applaud you. This nutcase, Adam Lanza, they want to kill his mother? Yeah, most likely. Okay, fine. We get that. What we don't get is why he took it to the school. And like I said yesterday, a lot of people might say, that he didn't know what the plan was. He wasn't sure. But now that we know that he already killed his mother, we know now what the plan was. He was out to do as much damage as humanly possible with a couple of handguns and an assault rifle in a grade school, an elementary school. You don't go into an elementary school with 3 guns, including an assault rifle and a bulletproof vest, and not have a plan as to what's going to happen. According to most recent reports, all the victims suffered multiple close-range gunshot wounds from the assault rifle. This guy was double-tapping kids. He was making sure that whoever he was aiming at was dead. There was no coming back. So he had a plan and he went through it. According to some official reports, Adam had A personality disorder. Yeah, okay, let's call it that. Let's go with that. Yeah, personality disorder, right? And Jeffrey Dahmer just liked having ranch dressing on black guys while he ate them. You know, no, he was a psycho. I know it seems a bit abrupt, but I am going to take a break right here, and let's listen to the president just a little bit more. I'll be right back. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I'm off the cuff.
They have their entire lives ahead of them. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of their own. Among the fallen were also teachers, men and women who devoted their lives to helping our children fulfill their dreams. So our hearts are broken today. For the parents and grandparents, sisters and brothers of these little children, and for the families of the adults who were lost. Our hearts are broken for the parents of the survivors as well. For as blessed as they are to have their children home tonight, they know that their children's innocence has been torn away from them too early, and there are no words that will ease their pain. As a country, we have been through this too many times. Whether it's an elementary school in Newtown, or a shopping mall in Oregon, or a temple in Wisconsin, or a movie theater in Aurora, or a street corner in Chicago, these neighborhoods are our neighborhoods.
All right, welcome back. Once again, Joe Shirts off the cuff. A bit more of yesterday's presidential address from President Barack Obama on the tragedy in Connecticut, Newtown. I know this is the third show I've done on this particular subject because I can't let it go. And much like our president, when I first spoke about this yesterday, I was losing my shit. I was crying on the air because I generally hate most people. I really fucking do. I can't stand people. People suck as a general rule. But I love kids. There have been times where I will go to a party. Hell, I once went to a beach party with my girlfriend in Long Beach for my buddy Dave's birthday. And what did I do most of the time? I ended up playing football with a 10-year-old girl. And she kicked my ass because I let her. Anytime she touched me, I just bounced back like I was hit by a truck. When I tried to get around her, I made sure she caught me. And we just had a fun time. I was doing backflips, I was rolling, I was covered in dirt, and we just had a great time. I was playing with a kid. You know what? Because adults are nowhere near as much fun as kids. Anytime I go visit my sisters, I love playing with my nieces and nephews. And I always remember the number one rule when it comes to dealing with small children. Treat them like monkeys. You try to treat them like people, they will not understand. You try to treat them in a rational way, you will just get flustered. You treat them like the fucking monkeys they are, and you will have the best time with them. I once used one of my nieces as nunchucks. You kidding me? My nephews I pick up, throw them like 6 feet in the air, and jam them into the pool. They come back again. And that's the age of the kids I'm talking about yesterday. They were that age. They were 6 and 7 years old. All they wanted in the world was to be able to play and to deal with people like the monkeys that they are. And now those monkeys will never get to be people. We'll always get, they'll always just be the monkeys. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in Newtown. Among them, a lot of tragic stories over there. I mean, obviously. There's a priest whose job it has been today, to visit families of victims and confirm for them, yeah, you're a kid. His job is to go to their houses, and the way he describes it, the people, they have They look hopeful, like, hey, you know, we actually found your kid. But deep down inside, they know they're not sending a priest with good news. And he has to tell them, you know, he's got to let them know. And if you've ever dealt with somebody that recently lost somebody that was important to them, you know what a horrible experience that can be. I remember when my girlfriend's mother died and her brother died, all these people just showed up. All these people just showed up, and they wanted to offer their condolences, and they wanted to be there for you, and their emotions were kicking my ass. I could feel them from across the room. It was like getting punched in the gut again and again and again. Because you can't deal with that kind of pain. You can't make it all better. You know, I'll take 1,000 scraped knees over that kind of pain. At the last estimate, there are roughly 300 million guns in the United States. So really, if you absolutely outlaw guns altogether, they're not going away. I support gun control, once again, just letting you all know. But, like I said, the criminals will find a way. The real psychos, they'll find a way. But this guy wasn't a criminal. This guy wasn't a psycho that people knew of. He was a 20-year-old guy, a kid really, who had access to his mother's guns. So many stories in this tragedy, like the one about the janitor. Even though just before he went into action, the school psychiatrist and a couple of the teachers were shot by this nutcase, this guy still went around from room to room in the school, letting everybody know what was going on. One person during the meeting, during the teachers' meeting, turned on the loudspeaker to help people know what was going on. One kid, 7, 8 years old, grabbed his friends and took them out of class and out to safety. He didn't leave them behind. He made sure that his friends were with him. Stories of teachers telling their kids to get into bathroom stalls, close the door, and stand on the toilet seat so that nobody could see their feet underneath. Stories of teachers telling the kids in their classes that they love them, and that, you know what, you're going to go home and you're going to celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah and all that good stuff. Reassuring them. Kids who were told to keep quiet, and they did it. Some of them were crying still. Obviously they were in shock. But the kids didn't lose their shit. They held it together. And as I was telling my girlfriend M, the worst part of this, for me, aside obviously from the tragic deaths themselves, is that we as a society do not get our pound of flesh. We do not get to punish this person. We do not get to make him face the families of those he hurt. We do not get to make him suffer. Now, I've often said I support the death penalty if we use it, but we don't. So it's useless. It's an empty threat. It's a paper tiger. But life imprisonment, that's a way worse, I think, at least for me. That concept is way worse than a death penalty. The rest of your life in a 6x9 room with a roommate. The rest of your life wondering if somebody's going to shove a shiv up your ass or fuck you in the ass, or beat you on a regular basis, because we all know how popular child killers are in prison. That's the part that I really hate, that we don't get to punish this guy. You know, that dickhead in Aurora, Colorado, we got him. We get to punish him. But not this guy. I don't know why he wore the bulletproof vest. Was he expecting some kid to bring a Uzi for show and tell that day? I don't get that. He took the easy way out. He killed a bunch of people, a bunch of kids, killed his own mother. I mean, the guy's got issues, to say the least. And now he essentially gets away with it. We don't get justice in this situation. Even if he was alive, you can't get justice for 27 people out of one person. You know, it's in these type of situations that I kind of wish that my atheistic view of the universe is wrong. In this type of situation, I do wish there is a God, there is a hell, and he gets to pay for this. I'm going to take one more break, and let's listen to the president a little more. I'm going to Joe the shirt, I'm off the cuff.
These children are our children. We're going to have to come together and take meaningful action to prevent more tragedies like this, regardless of the politics. This evening, Michelle and I will do what I know every parent in America will do, which is hug our children a little tighter, and we'll tell them that we love them, and we'll remind each other how deeply we love one another. But there are families in Connecticut who cannot do that tonight, and they need all of us right now. In the hard days to come, that community needs us to be at our best as Americans, and I will do everything in my power as president to help. Because while nothing can fill the space of a lost child or loved one, all of us can extend a hand to those in need, to remind them that we are there for them, that we are praying for them, that the love they felt for those they lost endures not just in their memories, but also in ours. May God bless the memory of the victims. And in the words of Spreaker, heal the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds.
Once again, President Barack Obama addressing the nation yesterday. Like I said, losing his shit, crying, tearing up, much like I did yesterday. At least 3 times on the air, and twice on the phone with my girlfriend, and once more when she got home. I even did it once today, privately in the bathroom. Because it's a horror. It's tragedy. President Barack Obama will be in Newtown, Connecticut tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, for an interfaith vigil. He's offering all the help that he can to the governor of Connecticut, to the families, the town of Newtown. Like I said yesterday, these are not the shows I was planning on doing. I was going to do a show that involved talking about the world's most expensive cheese. You know, that's the shows I was planning on doing. I was planning on doing shows about that, and you know, top 11 things that men want in a perfect woman. You know, that's the kind of shit I was going to do. I wasn't going to do this. I don't want to do this. But now that it's happened, I feel compelled to do this. And my girlfriend will tell you, Em will tell you, that I don't usually ever get affected like this. But I think it boils down to our DNA, our genetics, that we try to protect children. We try to save them. Try to not hurt them. A lot of times we fail, but it's not because we don't try. So when somebody like this not only doesn't try, but goes out of their way to hurt children. It just goes against every fiber of our being. Every genetic code in us tells us you're supposed to protect children. You're not supposed to hurt them. And mind you now, I know there are plenty of parents out there that have taken a belt or two to their kids. Believe me, mine did. And for the most part, I'm not the worst for wear because... Yeah, we live to tell. Thank you, baby. But there's also a point that I've expressed to other people, including my girlfriend, when dealing with my dog. I know a dog is not a kid, but a dog mentality is like a young kid's. Dogs understand violence very, very well. In a dog or wolf culture, they use violence to express how things work. But the dogs who are having the violence brought against them, they trust that the alpha won't do too much damage. And while as a kid, I didn't want to get my ass beaten, but I did, I trusted that my mother wouldn't go too far. She'd give me the beating that I had coming. I deserved it. Believe me, I was a little bitch. I was a little asshole and a prick. You know, and I earned my fucking beatings. But through it all, at no point did I believe that she was going to do any permanent damage. And that's the trust that all children have when it comes to their parents. They trust that, yes, they will be reprimanded, they will be punished, maybe even get a spanking, but they believe deep down in their hearts that no matter what mommy does, no matter what daddy does, they're not really going to do anything wrong. And this is where this guy breaks the fucking rule. I've talked a lot on this show about sexual abuse and children. Now I'm talking about children and murder. Honestly, I don't know which one is worse. With one, the life is over. The pain is over. With the other, you get to live, but the pain stays. You talk to anybody that's been sexually abused, the death one is better, and says that the death is better. And you know, I'm inclined to agree with it. That's why I say, fuck the death penalty. Let them stay in prison the rest of their lives. Let them enjoy anal rape on a regular basis. Daily.
Death is easy.
Yeah, death is easy. That's what I said. But it's like I was talking the other day, I don't mean to sound like I'm trying to inject too much levity here. Obviously I haven't. But levity is one of my primary defense mechanisms, so that's what I got to go with. In the movie Unforgiven, I mentioned this yesterday, Clint Eastwood says it's a funny thing killing a man because you take away everything he's ever been and everything he's going to be. And that's what you do. That's what happened here. These kids, everything they were going to be is gone. It's done. They got to be 6 and 7, which are fantastic ages. They're fun. They're painful. But most of us get through it. And then we get to suffer as teenagers. And then we get to suffer as young adults. And then we get to suffer as adults. And then as parents. And then as old people. But we live long enough to suffer and enjoy shit in between. And these kids don't get that. It's not just simply that these kids were killed, that they were murdered. These kids were robbed. That's the biggest point here. These kids were robbed. They were stolen from. None of them got a chance to fall in love. None of them got a chance to get laid. None of them got a chance to get divorced. None of them got a chance to live at all. You can call it a murder if you want, but in the end, it's a robbery. Yes, baby? That's right. Em makes a very good point. Their parents were also robbed. There was a theft. They were stolen of the kids, giving them shitty gifts for Father's Day, Mother's Day. They were robbed.
Making their lives miserable.
Making their lives miserable. Making them worry. making them wonder where the hell they are at 2 a.m. in the morning. Exactly.
Watching them grow up.
They were also robbed of the prom pictures and Halloween costumes, and they were robbed of parties.
Skimpy dresses.
Yeah, exactly. They were robbed of all the little moments that parents live for with their children. The very few rare moments when a parent and child get together and they connect in a way that they always hoped they would, but didn't think they would. So they were robbed.
And then the motherfucker comes.
And then he robbed us of our pound of flesh. Thank you for listening. I promise next show, a lot more levity. This is the last one I'm doing on this, unless some new developments come up. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff. Take care.